All right, here's lesson 2 on synthetic division. Now, if you think about it, synthetic means kind of like fake or not quite real. It's more of a shortcut for how we would long divide a polynomial. Now, it's more of a trick in a way. I want to caution you on this. Once you learn it, yes, it's easy, but to tell you the complete honest truth, as you walk away from it from year to year and you only see it maybe once a year, you're going to have to you're going to have to look up the steps again. Everyone does. It's kind of, you don't remember how to synthetically divide because the properties of how you divide with this synthetic division, it's not intuitive like long division where we could remember how to, if we can remember all of the steps for long division, we have it. So I want to caution you on synthetic division. Yes, it's easier, but it only works when the divisor is linear or to the first degree. So if this is to the third degree, we can't do this. We have to go ahead and start with long division. If it's to the fifth degree, we have to go ahead and use long division in order to divide these two polynomials out. So you can only use linear equations or to the first degree. Okay, so this is how we would set up synthetic division. So what we're truly trying to find is if a solution is going to work into the equation, then we can kind of factor or kind of divide it out, and that's what we're doing. So we first, whenever you see to the negative exponent, let's first go ahead and set it up into something we already know. This is going to end up being t to the third minus 6t squared plus 1, all divided by t plus 2 in the denominator. Okay, so I hope you guys can't hear that dog outside. It's gone crazy. But anyway, okay, so for our first step is we're going to go ahead and set up our synthetic division. And that requires kind of doing an upside down box, what we would normally do with the division. We need to go ahead and place our coefficients inside. Now, I'm going to go ahead just for this first problem, line it up top so I can show you what we're doing. So t to the third minus 6t squared. Hey, do we have a t to the first power? We don't. So that's actually going to be plus 0t to the first power plus 1. Now, the coefficient in front of t to the third power is just 1. Now that we have our coefficients, that's what goes in our box here. All right, now the next step is we need to go ahead and find our solution. Our solution is going to live in this box here on the outside, and we're going to walk through the steps on how to divide this out. So our solution is we're going to take t plus 2 and our 0 is set it equal to 0 and t equals negative 2. Okay, so you could just take a look at your binomial and set it equal to 0, and that's going to be your solution. Bring down your first value, that's 1. 1 times negative 2 gives us negative 2. Combine these two terms, so you're adding them together. This would end up being negative 6 plus negative 2, which is just negative 8. Okay, now we multiply this term by negative 2, and that would be positive 16. Combine 0 and 16, that just becomes 16. 16 times negative 2 is negative 32. Combine 1 plus negative 32, and that would just give us negative 31. All right, now this is the part where I feel like a lot of my students struggled last year. When they were writing it in synthetic division, they would forget that we're really taking x to the third divided by x to the first power. So whenever we're dividing that out, it's just like saying x to the third divided by t to the third divided by t is just going to end up giving us t squared. So when we're rewriting this, okay, we already you divided out t plus 2. That's what we're ultimately doing here. So we subtract 1 from the exponent. So instead of it being t to the third, it's just going to end up being t squared. Our next value, our next variable is going to be, or degree is going to be 1 less than that. So that's just going to end up being t to the first power. And then we end up with our constant 16. But let's go ahead and bring that down. So minus 8t to the first power plus 16. Okay, and then notice how we do have a remainder. So this is going to end up being our remainder plus, well, in this case, because it's only one term, we can write minus 31 divided by x. Oops, we're not dealing with x. t plus 2. Okay, so this is our end answer. If you're working with Khan Academy, the quotient, in this case it would be q of t, QD, is just going to be t squared minus t 8t plus 16, and then the remainder, RT, is negative 31 divided by t plus 2, but you would just write negative 31. Okay, if you have any questions, please let me know, but let's go ahead and take a look at this next problem. Let's go ahead and move this down. Please move. Thank you. All right, so we're taking this polynomial and dividing it by n plus 4. Now, whenever we're dividing it by n plus 4, we can go ahead and find our 0, which would be n plus, equals 0, n just equals negative 4. So we know that our solution, we're trying to see if there's a solution in n minus 4. And if we end up with a remainder of 0, then that means n minus 4 does factor or is a solution to that value. That's truly what we're trying to figure out. All right, so let's go ahead and set this one up. Our solution is negative 4, so we're going to see if that goes into it. Our coefficient for n cubed is just 1 plus 2. Next value is negative 5 and 12. We need no placeholders here, so we have no zeros filling a spot for us. Bring down the first term always, no matter what it is, just bring it down. Okay, then we're going to multiply negative 4 times 1, which is just gives me negative 4. Combine those terms, so 2 minus 4, which just gives us negative 2. 4 minus 2, or negative 4 times negative 2 is going to end up giving us a positive 8. Combining those terms would give us a positive 3. Okay, and then the next step, it would be to go ahead and, hold on, sorry, just double checking my math. Okay, our next step would just go ahead and take negative 4 times positive 3, which would be negative 12, and combine those values, and that would be 0. Remember, we are working with n to the third to begin with, divided by n. Well, that's just going to give us n squared for our first term. Okay, so n squared, 1 would go in front, minus 2n plus 3. And because our remainder is 0, this is our final answer. So our quotient is just going to end up being q of n equals n squared minus 2n plus 3, and then our remainder, r of n, is just going to end up being 0 because there's no remainder on this one. Okay, I hope you guys are doing well. If you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, have a wonderful week 4, and I'll see you guys next week for week 5. Thank you.